Okay, welcome back. We have solved the two layers as we can see here. Okay, and now we move on to solve the final layer, which is this one. Okay, so in order to solve the final layer, what we have to do is first make a cross here. Okay, so after solving the two layers, what you may get is either a dot, which is this, either you may get a L shape, which is like this. Okay, what you have to do is when there is a L shape, you have to hold it like this, such that the L is a mirror 7, kind of a mirror 7. Or what you may get is a single line. Okay, so you have to hold it like this, horizontal, and not like this. Okay, or you may get a cross like this. Ultimately we have to make a cross, so we have an algorithm which is FRU, R inverse, U inverse, F inverse. So based on what you have, if you have a dot, you have to do that algorithm once, which is like this. Okay, F R U, R inverse, U inverse, F inverse. Okay, so then we get a inverted L. Okay, so when we get an inverted L, we have to do it once again, so that we get a line. Okay, so based on this, we have to do F R U, R inverse, U inverse, and F inverse. Okay, so we get a line here. So when we get a line here, what we have to do is do another time same algorithm, F R U, R inverse, U inverse, F inverse, so that we get a cross. So when we get a cross, what we have to do is we have to just remember that any two vertical middle lines, for example like this, the colors will all match. So how you will know that the color would match? You have to just rotate the upper face like this one at a time and check if the two colors are matching. So we don't have, only one is matching out here. Okay, so we again rotate it once more. So if you can see, green is matching, this is not matching, this is not matching, and then orange is matching. So we see green is matching and orange is matching. Okay, so any two middle layer will definitely match. So it can be on the adjacent side, for example orange and green. Okay, so when it matches on the adjacent side, we have to just hold the cube like this, so that the adjacent face are on the right hand side, one of them, okay, green, and one is at the back, which is the orange. Okay, so when you hold it like this, what you have to do is another algorithm, which is R U, R inverse, U R, U U, R inverse, and finally a U. So now we have all the vertical lines matching. Okay, okay, so there may be cases when you rotate the up face and you get, okay, the two colors matching as in on the opposite faces, okay, like green and blue. Okay, so these two vertical lines are on the opposite faces. So what you will do is do the same algorithm without a U. Okay, so that results in the two vertical lines being at the adjacent side. So what we do is we hold the cube such that the matching two middle vertical lines are on the opposite face, one on the front, on one of the back, and do R U, R inverse, U R, U U, R inverse, okay, without a U. So now we see the vertical lines are on the adjacent side, what we had earlier, Okay, so then again what we do is place it such that the vertical lines, middle lines are on the back and on the right, and do the same algorithm with a U. So this is R U R inverse U R U U R inverse U, and you see now all the vertical lines are matching. Okay, so the next step is to place all the four corners. Okay, irrespective of the orientation, what we have to check is if the corners are at the correct place. Okay, so for example, we have to get a case as this one. For example, if you see, since the center color on top is yellow, definitely all the corners will have a yellow in it. But what we have to check is the other two colors. So this is, if you see, this is orange and blue, which is placed in between orange center and blue center. So this corner we will say is at the correct place, but it is not oriented properly, which we will do it in the next step, but this is at the correct place. Next is green and orange, which is placed between green and orange center, so this is also in the correct place. This is what, red and green, which is between green and red centers, this is also in the correct place. And this is blue and red, which is also in the correct place since it's between the correct center. So finally we want to have all these four corners like this. Okay, so if they are not in the correct center, what we have to do is, for example, we have this, see here it is a red and a green, okay, which is not at the correct place since this is not in between blue and red. What we will do is, we will not move the upper layer now since we have fixed our vertical middle lines. So what we have to see is any of the one corner is at the correct place or not. So let's find out. This is blue and orange, which is not in between green. This is between green and orange, we ignore this. This is orange and green, which is between blue and orange, we ignore this. This is red and green, between blue and green, we ignore this. This is blue and red, which is between red and green, so we don't have any corners in the correct place. So now what we can do is, we can hold the cube in any manner like this, and we do the following algorithm, which is U R U inverse L inverse U R inverse U inverse and L, and we now look if any of the corner has come to the correct place. This is red and blue, between red and green, no. This is green and red, and this is between green and orange. This is blue and orange, here we get it. This is blue and orange, between blue center and orange center. Okay, so this corner is at the correct place. So what we do is, we hold the cube such that the corner is on the top right up face. Okay, and we repeat the same algorithm until all the four corners are at the correct place. So what we do is a U R U inverse L inverse U R inverse U inverse L inverse, and then we'll again see all the four corners. So this is orange blue, between the correct centers, red and green, between blue and red centers, so this is not at the correct place. We again come back to our original position where the corner is at the correct place between orange and blue, and we repeat the same algorithm, U R U inverse L inverse U R inverse and U inverse and L. Okay, now we again see this is at the correct place, blue and orange. This is also at the correct place, blue and red, between blue and red centers. This is red and green, between red and green centers, and this is green and orange, between green and orange centers. So that essentially not has to be that green has to be here matching, but it has to be at the correct place. It may be disoriented, which we will fix in the next step. So now what we have is all the corners at the correct place. And now we will move to the next step, which we all learnt in the first step, which is R inverse, D inverse, RD. We do that holding the cube until there is a yellow on top. Okay, so here we go. R inverse, D inverse, RD. This is not at the correct place. Okay, you might be seeing that these are getting scrambled up, but don't worry, this will come back to this original place. Okay, so R inverse, D inverse, RD. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, RD. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, RD. We have a yellow out here. So what we do is we don't misplace the cube, we hold it as it was, just turn the up face so that there is a non-yellow here. Okay, and now we do the same thing, just ignore that the rest part of the cube, you will come with the terms in the end. Okay, we do the same thing. R inverse, D inverse, R D. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, R D. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, R D. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, R D. There is a yellow out here. We move the yellow. Here it is again a yellow. We move it again, since we have to bring a non-yellow out here. We do it again. R inverse, D inverse, R D. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, R D. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, R D. No yellow. R inverse, D inverse, R and D. And you see, you have solved the cube.